together. We do a big Tipsy Owl welcome to the one and only Abby Miles. Thanks for listening. Ready? Ready? We start singing, guys? Do looks like a lady. Do looks like a lady. Do looks like a lady. Do looks like a lady.
That was a fucking hate crime. Dyslexic transvestite walked into a bar. Never underestimate the importance of good entrance music. It was either that or Mysterious Girl. So my name's Abby Miles, the world's premier female meatloaf impersonator. They've asked me along to sing a few songs tonight. But I won't do that. So I grew up in the 1980s with all the strong male role models of the time. Prince, Freddie Mercury, Jimmy Cranky. My father was a pantomime dame. Oh yes, he was. He really was. I have the mental scars. And my mother was a seamstress. She used to try dresses on me because she couldn't afford to buy a dummy. Luckily, I escaped unscathed with no lasting psychological effects. So the more observant amongst you are probably thinking, Susan Boyle let herself go. So I'd like to address the obvious question on your minds. No, this is not my natural hair colour. So I am in fact transgender. I know. I hide it well. Thank you. Yeah, I hide it well, don't I? I'm the only person I know who threw their own gender reveal party. So I've been diagnosed with something called gender dysphoria. Basically, it means I'm not comfortable in my own foreskin. So I've always known all my life I was a bit different in school. I was definitely different to everyone in my class. So I was the only kid who only had one birthday and one Christmas because my parents stayed together. I didn't even have the hot stepmother that my mates fancied. I've never forgiven them. But coming out to my parents was quite tough. My father was in hospital following a massive heart attack. Understandably, my mum was very worried. So I thought, I know, I'll take her mind off it. So I sat her down, I told her everything, and her words have stuck with me. She said, I really don't understand, but I support you. Oh. It's lovely, isn't it? Yeah, maybe now isn't a good time to tell your dad, though. I love it when I get sympathy on that line. It's going to crash. But my mum's always saying mad things. She's one of a kind. Just after I told her, she said, is this because we made you and your brother dress up funny and do pantomime? I said, well, I'm no medical professional, but I'm pretty certain that's not how it works. She did always say she wanted a girl, though, so congratulations, Mum. And then she was telling my auntie about it, and my auntie said, oh, are they happier now? And my mum said, oh, like a different person. Yeah. I love you guys. I didn't even have to let that sink in and do the follow-up line just to illustrate it. That's amazing. But I went round to see my parents recently. I was wearing a beautiful green dress, and Mum was looking at me. She said, "I'm trying to think who you remind me of from the telly." So, who's that? She said, "Yesterday, I was watching Shrek, and my own mum thinks I look like Princess Bloody Fiona. That's the last time I get a Mac makeover." I sound like I'm being really hard on my mum for being a bit daft. She is very insightful, my mum, surprisingly so, to the degree that she knows things. She knew things before they were things, right? Honestly. And I don't often touch on this sort of thing in my set, but I feel I can share it with you. When everything with the BBC and that came to light, and the whole Jimmy Savile thing, my mum just sat there and said, I knew that a long time ago. I said, really? How did you know that? She said, well, I was actually watching a documentary years ago when he was doing all the marathons, and they were there interviewing him in the hotel room. And they said, where's your suitcase? Where's all your clean clothes and that? And he said, well, I just washed my underpants in the sink and put them on the radiator overnight. And my mum said, from that moment on, I knew he was a wrong un. That, ladies and gentlemen, was a true story and proof that I don't need to write material with my mother around. Absolutely true. Yeah. So being of a certain age, that's quite tough for me. Like most of my friends, I'm on HRT. They're all going through menopause. Yeah, I'm going through puberty. So good, I did it twice. I've had a lot of unwelcome side effects since starting the HRT, though. Recently, I've discovered I've completely lost the ability to, parallel park. I no longer understand the offside rule. And I frequently come close to peeing myself. Although that's mainly because I don't know what toilet I'm allowed to use anymore. It's not all bad though, there's some upsides to it. There really are. I tick a lot more diversity boxes now, so I get a lot more gigs, that's nice. And I'm harder to sack. I make a banging gravy. And I always get a seat on the bus. I think that's because I look pregnant, though, to be fair. But it's not all fun and games. I can go from horny teenager to evil hell bitch in about the time it takes to eat a tub of Ben and Jerry's. Yes, I've had a few of them in my time. This is the body as Empic forgot. I am on the large side. I do identify as skinny, though. I'm what they call trans-slender. But I have recently become diagnosed with a very inconvenient combination of illnesses. I have bulimia and amnesia. Yeah, I binge eat. I forget to vomit. The doctor's always been concerned. I've always been a bigger person and always been concerned about my body fat. Apparently, it's got a lot worse in the last 2 years. It's all trans fat. So as I say, I grew up in the 80s. I'm proudly part of Generation X. For those of you who don't know what that is, basically, we were born dead inside. Emotionless, cynical, borderline sociopaths. That reads a lot like my Tinder profile. Give it a swipe, you will be disappointed. But we didn't have to worry about that back in the day. We did the real life dating thing, didn't we? And these days it's a lot more difficult for me. And most of my friends are straight, cis women. So we go to a lot of regular pubs and clubs. That and the fact I won't go to gay bars because I hate ABBA and Steps. So these days, if I see a girl at the bar that I like, I don't ask if she's single anymore. I have to ask if she's got a gay sister. But I was telling a friend recently about my predicament, and she just looked at me. She said, "Look, just bite the bullet. Start dating men. Where there's a will, there's a way." I said, "The trouble is, in my case, where there's a willy, there's no fucking way." But it's always been a problem for me. I always found that I always told people I don't have a type. They'd say, "What's your type?" I don't really have one. I do. I've worked it out now. I really do have a type. Nutters. That is exactly the sort of girl I attract, is fucking nutters. I shall illustrate this for you as best I can. There's one girlfriend of mine, she used to have these really crazy obsessions with things. She was obsessed at one point with getting a pair of dungarees. And I looked at her, I said, no. I said, two types of people are allowed to wear dungarees: pregnant women and decorators. And lesbians, obviously, but I'm not brave enough to tell them otherwise. So I said to her, look, you're neither, no dungarees. So a few months later, I get back from work. She runs up to me excitedly, gives me a hug, gives me a kiss, and says, "I can finally get those dungarees." And I'll be honest, it was the happiest day of my life. I was so pleased. My kitchen was finally getting painted. Unfortunately, there were complications, and she lost and it was a very sad, difficult time for us both. But on the bright side, no dungarees, so it wasn't all bad. And then my next girlfriend after that, she was very paranoid about things, didn't like me talking to other people. And she was convinced for a long time there was another woman. All these years later, I realised she was right. And then my most recent ex, before we split, we had this massive argument. And she said, "Your trouble is you make everything about you." So after we split, I wrote my life story and took up stand-up comedy. So that showed her, didn't it? So, yeah, to top it all off, though, I've got a really addictive personality. Luckily, I was introduced to stand-up and not crack. Although I have recently become patron of a new charity. We're rehabilitating drug users by teaching them stand-up. It's called Crack Jokes, Not Pipes. But I've always loved comedy. I've always wanted to do this. And ironically, it's only now I've had the balls to try. But yeah, I've been working hard. I've been doing comedy a year now, and in that time I've done a very large amount of gigs. And it's difficult to get the nice paid jobs. You have to take whatever you can. So recently I took a gig in a fetish club. I say gig. I have a humiliation fetish, so I thought if people were paying to laugh at me, it was a win-win. So I got up on stage, I did my set, nobody laughed. Yeah, best night ever. I've been working hard on finding ways to make my comedy better. So I've been studying some of those classic comedians of old. And I realised that they all either had some sort of addiction issue or deep personal trauma to draw from. Now, obviously, I haven't got anything like that. So I thought, I know, I'll get myself a drug habit. That will sort it out, right? So I did what all middle-aged women do. I went on Facebook Marketplace to see what I could find. And there it was in front of me. Answer to my prayers. I found a local meth dealer. Thought, this is brilliant. Yeah, I should have gone to Specsavers. It was a local moth dealer. My front room now looks like Silence of the Lambs. On the bright side, I do remember to put the lotion on my skin now. But yeah, I do an awful lot of mileage with the comedy. I do a lot of driving with it. I had to get a new car because when I first started, my car nearly blew up after a few months. True story. And I've got to look after this one because it's a bit new. It's got all the funky stuff. And recently, the oil maintenance light came on. It came on. It says, oil maintenance, please call your dealer. I now have half an ounce of really good weed, and it turns out he knows fuck all about cars. But I do like to drive, when I'm driving around, I do listen to a lot of music. I'm a big music fan. Any rock fans in tonight? Yes. Specifically, any Metallica fans in tonight? Any of you going to see them next year in Cardiff? This year, yes. Shit, I didn't turn my internal clock forward. Sorry about that. Yeah, I wouldn't bother, to be honest. I saw them when they were still good. About 30 years ago. Whoa. But no, genuinely though, have you heard that after this tour, James Hetfield is actually retiring? Have you heard that? Yeah, he's leaving music completely. He's opening a little bed shop. Yeah, called Nothing Else Mattress. But growing up when I did, being a rock fan in Wales was really difficult. We didn't get any of the good bands come here. We had all the local tribute acts and stuff. They were awful. We had Talbot Green Day. That wasn't much. It's much American Idiot as Pontypridd Pisshead. And then we had Merthyr Head with their classic Ace of Blades. And then from deepest, darkest Newport, we had Limp Bizkit. Rolling. As Newport as it gets. Weirdly, though, the Iron Maiden tribute bands never really got any traction. Calling the band Iron Lady in Wales was a bad move. Trouble was that their gigs, when a pit opened up, they closed it down. But yeah, I've got the whole array on my car. It tells me all the info on the songs. It tells me the song name, the band, and in case I'm easily offended, because I might be, it says in brackets underneath it will say explicit. A Green Day song came on the way here tonight. I just looked at the screen. I thought I could have guessed that, Alexa. Someone's called Fuck Off. Do you really need a warning? But I found recently, actually, Alexa is fucking mocking me. Right? I'm really not happy about this. Had a little bit of a fling over Christmas and just ended before New Year. Yeah, I know, right? I got moves. Seriously, I got that shit. It all went awry after a few days. And I was a bit miserable. I was driving down to a friend's house in Swansea. I thought I'm going to whack my playlist on. What could possibly go wrong? Nice and uplifting stuff, see me through this trip to Swansea. First song that came on, and this is genuine, by the way. This isn't me writing comedy narrative. This really, really happened. The first song that came on was Blink-182, I Miss You. Skip. Yeah. Nothing Compares to You by Sinead fucking Connor. Skip. Next song that came on was called You Can't Bring Me Down. I thought that's a bit better, a bit more uplifting, right? Yeah, the song's by a band called Suicidal Tendencies. Even Alexa is taking the piss out of my situation right now. So, sorry, hang on, that's my alarm going off. That means I've done 20 minutes. Sorry, guys, I've kind of run a bit here. What did I have left? So we're going to jump over that. I'd just like to say this is possibly one of the coolest, maddest, weirdest rooms I've played. Who the fuck thought of doing a Pride gig in a closet? No, genuinely, earlier on, I was stood outside the door, and this guy came up to me. He said, "What are you doing, standing by a wardrobe?" I said, "None of your business." So I'm going to leave it there. But before I go, just a little quick plug. As I mentioned before, last year I wrote and published my life story, Abnormal, available from all good bookshops and Amazon. Please buy it. I'll get about 40p. Yeah. I did actually do a book signing recently in Waterstones. Yeah. Yeah. I wrote I Hate You on 9 3/4 Harry Potter books. Banned for life. Ladies and gents, you've been absolutely amazing. I've been Abby Miles. I've broken the mic stand. Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, Abby Miles.